Good morning. It's Laura Conover, your Pima County attorney, and it is very, very early in the morning. We are on the East Coast time because Larry Krasner, the district attorney from Philly, has been here the last couple days visiting Tucson, and we're catching him early in the morning on Thursday morning before he heads out. Larry, it's been a pleasure to have you here at the law school. Larry gave the annual Darrow Soul lecture, which gave him a chance to talk about criminal justice reform in Philly and hear a little bit about how it works here in Tucson as well. Thank you so much for coming out to the old Pueblo.
Hey, listen, I'll come to Tucson anytime. I love Tucson.
Well, we appreciate you having you back.
Yeah. It's great to see you too. We've been colleagues now for a long time.
Yes, we have. Yeah, you've been so generous as a mentor, and it's great to host you here in Tucson as well. So how did your trip go? What all did you get to do?
Trip was great. A little speaking, a little teaching, a little recruiting. We go around the country to try to gather up some of the best criminal justice minds of their generation, get them to my office, get them to your office, so that we can make change around the country.
Yeah. So, Larry, as I understand it, you've got 1.6 million people in Philly, and you've got like 380 prosecutors, 380 attorneys of
About
one kind or
320,
another.
yeah.
Yeah. So your needs are far greater than mine, although we're 1.1 million here as well. So we're both in constant need of good people.
Right.
So prosecutors hold so much power. What are you teaching them, and what are you looking for?
Well, more than anything, we're looking for talent, hard work, and for an intact moral compass. These are pretty immoral times, I'm sorry to say, but we cannot have that much power in the hands of immoral people, as I think we all know from watching the developments in Washington, D.C.
Well, let's talk more about that because again, it's so early in the morning. I'm Laura. I get to be also a politician right now because it's way before work. And talk a little bit about how we're finding it's been a very big deal here in Pima County. How we're finding that defending the Constitution and the rule of law has become an equally important part of our job, along with public safety.
Well, the truth is that public safety, used to be the job, public safety protecting individual rights. But when you have this massive assault on our Constitution and our laws coming from Washington, D.C. itself, when that's going on, you have to keep your oath. Your oath is to uphold the Constitution, not destroy it, uphold the laws, not, roll a tank over them. And that's exactly what Donald Trump is trying to do.
One of my favorite parts of the job is when we get to swear in brand new prosecutors who've just joined us. And, oftentimes they're starting their careers with us, and that's their enthusiasm is contagious. But when we read that oath of office out in Arizona, at least, it talks about defending the Constitution, and it talks about protecting the community from all threats, both foreign and domestic. And in my 5 years, every time that phrase gets read out to the room, you can, like, in recent months, I would say, you could kind of feel the whole room shiver there.
Yeah.
What is it like? How is it feeling right now on the streets of Philly?
Well, I think Philly recognizes that Donald Trump is a threat, both foreign and domestic. Ask Vladimir Putin about the foreign part, among others. I think they recognize that, and Philly is a place that doesn't back down; it stands up. So we're all trying to be ready. We're all trying to be thoughtful, and we're all trying to save our democracy. Simply put.
That reminds me, what's present in our minds right now in Tucson is that we've got our election coming up. We're almost, Larry, out here, we're almost exclusively a mail-in ballot.
Mm-hmm.
So people have their ballots at home right now for city council. And I know you've been hearing a little bit about that since we've been here, but we've got 3 critical city council races on the ballot right now. And I think you've been hearing a little bit about the candidates.
I have. I've heard really wonderful things, actually, about Selena, Miranda, and Kevin. That is, let me make sure I get the last names right. I'm not good with names, but it's Selena Barajas,
Yeah.
Miranda Schubert,
Yep.
and Kevin Dahl. I've heard nothing but great things about them. We need people who are going to stand up.
That's impressive memory. Larry met so many people while he was out here in the last 2 days, and That's impressive, and a recognition of that this is an important race, that it's important to vote, right? It's, when we talk about, you know, Larry and I suddenly finding ourselves on the lines of having to protect the Constitution and the very rule of law. I've been suing the Attorney General, the head of DHS, among other people out of DC, and so much of it comes down to just making sure that no matter how frustrated you are, no matter how discouraged you might feel, the power of your vote remains your most fundamental power.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it is an unbeatable power when people use it. And one of the sad things about this country is it hasn't been used enough. And there are certain people who've made their way to Washington, who've made their way to the U.S. Supreme Court, who spent their careers trying to make sure certain people cannot vote. There's really only one way to deal with people like that, and that is to drown them in votes, drown them in a great big blue wave, and then we won't have this problem anymore. We have that power. We just have to get out and vote.
Right. Yeah. The numbers are on our side. The numbers are on our side. We wouldn't be having any of these problems if we got more people who cared about these issues to pick up the pen, vote, pop it in the mail. Larry, let's go back a moment and talk about, again, the role of the DA, and I refer to the DA a lot. Of course, it's called Pima County Attorney out here, but the role of the DA in criminal justice reform. I get asked the question a lot, why did you sign up for this? Why are you doing this? It's a very, very difficult job. And I'd like to hear your why. Why did you run initially, and what was your hope going into that first run?
I think it boils down to we are actual patriots. We actually want Americans to be safer and freer, and we want them to be safer and freer all at the same time. I was for 30 years a civil rights and a defense attorney who year after year saw a system that was failing people, that brainwashed the public into bad ideas that became bad legislation and made this the most incarcerated big country in the world, while simultaneously making it very unsafe. We can do way better. And in fact, just in 2024, this country set a record for improvements in public safety. In many cities in 2025, we're doing even better. This, of course, is happening in the midst of a vast lie about how crime is out of control, which is nothing more than a BS rationalization for rolling tanks into American cities. We have to make America safer. We have to protect Americans' freedoms. That's called patriotism, not trying to overthrow the government on January 6th, which is the exact opposite. What we are doing is actually called patriotism.
I'd like to take back the flag, right? I mean, I literally think the flag is an image of, it should be our image of, again, standing up for the Constitution, standing up for the rule of law. Larry, you had an interesting stat that you shared at the law school yesterday that calls to me here in Pima County as well. One homicide is too many, right? One homicide is one broken family, is one loss too many, and heartbreaking. But it attracts a ton of media attention, right? I mean, the media will focus on that one case at a time, which is misleading, because the community should also know that Pima County is 46% down on homicides from 2 years ago, from the spike, and we're even outperforming the 2 years before COVID. We're down in homicide before COVID. I think Philly's about to make history, I think.
We're going to probably set a record of the lowest number of homicides in more than 50 years. Just think about this for a minute. Imagine you had stocks. You invested in a stock, and in 2 years it got 46% better. Right. You'd be buying some more stock. Well, I mean, your vote is your purchase. That is where you say, I want more of this. And we have to do that.
I love that. I love that. And I think this all goes to the heart of what I want to say too, is that this is what the Pima County Democratic Party, I think, is out there doing so hard, right? You guys are doing such a great job of pushing back against the misinformation. And I know we really, really appreciate it. The team you guys have at the party couldn't be more outstanding. Madison Peterson, Eric Robbins are incredible. I'm a little bit biased. Alex Kack is now the director of the Pima County Democratic Party, and he led the way for both of my shockingly successful and unexpected wins. He's my campaign manager, and now I'm thrilled that the whole Pima County gets him. So, Pima County, we appreciate support for the work we're trying to do for us out here holding the line. Without your support and backing, it would be far too lonely.
Well, listen, greetings from your sister city, Philly.
That's right.
Another great town with great food and great culture and great people.
That's true.
We need to do this. We can't be listening to these Dempublicans, these quote Democrats unquote, who frankly have always had one foot in the Republican Party and are now admitting it. We cannot accept that. That's a bunch of nonsense, and it's happening in Philly as well. We need to smack that down, and your vote will do that.
Amen. Get out the vote. See you next time.